To today's live broadcast. My name is Nicole Guillaume. Welcome to Guiding Echoes. And today we are going to be diving into more or less angel messages. So, over the past few years, I have been able to channel angels and light beings, and that is something that has become more prominent for me over just the past few weeks. And because that seems to be where I am naturally flowing in my gifts and abilities, it is something that I'm going to be doing more of on this channel. So if you have been following me for quite some time, you know that I like to work with angels and guides, tarot. I've got my oracle cards ready for anything that happens today. And you also know that I am someone who has dove into psychic mediumship. I have gone back and forth with that gift over and over again because it's one that has not been consistent for me. And so I am shelving that ability again. I already received messages from my guides and angels explaining why mediumship is something that's not working well for me. And so that's not something I'll be diving into anymore. So that said, as we are moving forward today with the readings and whatnot, I will not be doing psychic mediumship today, but we can dive into cards, we can dive into tarot, all that kind of stuff, psychic stuff, and yeah, we'll have a good time. So before we get started with the actual readings, I do want to tell you a little bit more about myself, how my readings work, and also share with you how things are going to work today. So my name is Nicole Guillaume. I am a psychic and a angel channeler. I have been doing this for well over 10 years at this point, almost 15, I believe. And yeah, it's just every time you think that you've seen everything, you realize you haven't seen everything. So it's always an adventure. As we dive into the readings for today, I do have a few requests. One is that if you ask questions, please be sure that they are centered on self, meaning don't ask about your ex husband, don't ask about your adult children. These are not the type of questions that I'll be answering because I believe that it crosses an ethical boundary. The only exception I'll make to that rule is in one on one readings in a private session where something that they're doing is having a direct impact on you. And so you need to get more information. Otherwise, I don't like putting people's dirty laundry on air here on this channel. Second, remember that these are intuitive readings, so they're considered peer to peer. They are not a substitution for any type of medical or professional advice, so take it with a grain of salt. Let's see what else. I should have written it down. I was kind of in a not exactly a hurry today, but you know those type of mornings where you're feeling a little frazzled and you're trying to get a lot done at once. That was my morning today, so I'm not as prepared as I would like to be. Oh, I remember. So the third thing is that um if I am doing a reading for someone else and you feel strongly that it resonates with you as well, then that reading was for you. So it's for you too. A lot of times I will come on here, I'll read for as many people as I can, and, people will get really upset because I wasn't able to get to them. But if I give a reading to someone and everything I'm saying is just really resonating with you, then that is your sign. Trust your intuition that it's meant for you as well. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. So I think that I want to open this up by just doing a generic channeling, and I'm gonna let you guys know, like, this actually makes me really hesitant, like nervous to do channelings live like this. Typically I prefer to record them and I'll do voice only because when I channel, I tend to close my eyes so I can focus. And doing it live in front of people, I don't know why this is the thing that, makes me nervous, but it is. Hold on a second, guys. I just realized that my computer's not plugged in. So let's fix that. Okay, there we go. Did that fix it? No, it did not. Well, that is strange. Hold on. All right, there we go. I had everything plugged in, but the cable wasn't plugged into the actual thing that plugs into the wall. I don't know what it's called, but anyways, so yeah, so it actually takes a lot of courage for me to do this, which sounds silly because I've been doing things like this for years. Um, but I don't know, this is just something that I've always been nervous about doing live. So here we go. In the meantime, go ahead and think about what questions you have that you might want to ask. And if you'd like to set up a private channeling with me, you can email me at guidingechoes@gmail.com to get that set up. I don't have those services available on my website yet, but I will. And because I don't want to block access to anyone who needs these messages, um, I'm offering them starting at $50. So I do have like a kind of a sliding scale that you can work with. So 50 being the lowest, and of course, if you can afford more, I would appreciate it because I have to make a living like everyone else does. But again, it's heavy on my heart. It's always been strong on my heart to be able to make these available to people who need it. Okay. So all right. So I'm just gonna breathe in, focus. And I can hear noise from some people outside, so that's a little disturbing. Not disturbing, but it does affect. So yeah, I'm nervous, guys. It's ridiculous. I do this for myself all the time, and for clients, I just don't do it. All right. It is so good to be with you today. We know that the numbers for this broadcast is small, which actually makes us delighted because it means we can connect with each of you on a more intimate and personal level. As you are maneuvering through the challenges in your personal lives, we want to come forward and ask you to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to breathe. Because as you breathe, as you tune into intentional breath, it gives your physical bodies the ability to reset, to recharge, to get into calm serenity. And it is actually through calmness that you're able to think outside the box, that you're able to contemplate different life problems with more vigneer, with more focus and ability, and the ability to see the outcome before it happens, and also taking small steps in that direction. Because when you are making plans out of anger, there can be a big burst of energy in the beginning, and that can feel very good. And you might feel like you're focused and directed, but the truth is that energy tends to scatter and it burns out as quickly as it comes in. So being able to breathe opens up your mental faculties so that you can absorb information more fully. And this is information that your conscious mind is not always absorbing or letting you know of. Your subconscious mind has great power, and your brilliant mind and your body is picking up on cues around you all of the time. But your conscious mind is deciding what it will allow and what it's going to block out. So as you continue to focus on a problem, which is okay, we're not going to tell you not to focus on a problem because there are benefits to that. We know many people will tell you to focus on the solution, but we also understand that some of your minds are wired to look at the problem, and that is okay. What we don't want is for you to fear the problem. And so we can do that. You can do that by looking at the problem and just breathing, and allowing all those emotions to come to the surface, acknowledging that maybe you don't have the answers right now, acknowledging you don't know the next step. And as you acknowledge those things to yourself, and as you breathe, and as you release all of your worries, and then you call in your angels, source, and what you believe in, the answers will slowly begin to appear. And you didn't have to do anything for it, really. All you had to do was breathe, because we need to get your mind and your body into a place where it can lift those heavy energies and where it can accept answers. And that's not always something you can do in a state of fear or anger or high anxiety. And to be fair, it's not always something you can do in a state of joy. We've seen so many people make interesting decisions in a state of joy. And yet, when you talk to different psychologists and mental health professionals on your planet, they say that people make the biggest mistakes out of fear or anger. We have seen big mistakes made out of all powerful emotions. And it's often when you are calm that you make the better choices because you can receive the information easier. And sometimes this information is the workings of your own mind and higher self. And other times it is the working of the angelic forces and light beings and guides and other forces around you that are working together for your greatest and highest good. And that is what we want you to know, is that we are always wanting to direct you for your best and highest good. And the problem comes because every human seems to have a self-destructive side. And the self-destructive side is born out of many different things. Of course, there is the usual factors which you know of, which is fear, anger, jealousy. We don't need to continue because you're aware of those. But what it really comes from on a soul level is there is a part of you that may feel trapped, that came to this planet to live a certain experience or to help in a certain way. There are very distinct purposes and destinations you came here to have. And then when you come to this planet, sometimes they don't always appear the way that you think that they should or that you agreed for them to, because things can change on this planet. And so your soul part notices the difference, and then there's a part that can panic. And so your body feels that. And so it's almost out of a need for freedom and rebellion that you start to make decisions that may not be in your best interest, or you start to question guides, angels, source, because things are not going according to the plan that you had in your heart. On the other side, these plans seem easy, but when you get here, it is a completely different experience. And so your soul is mourning, your soul is missing home, your soul is projecting that energy into your body, and your body experiences it as fear, as doubt, as grief, so many different things. And that is why you sometimes doubt your spiritual road, and why sometimes you doubt your spiritual gifts and your experience, because the experience you thought you were going to have here before you incarnated is not unfolding the way that you thought it would. It's not easy. And a part of you knew it wouldn't be easy, but you always forget just how hard it's going to be. So acknowledging that your soul on some level may feel trapped. It is still glorious and boundless and beautiful, but your soul does have feelings. You feel them. And these are the things that can cause you to retract and go into yourself and try to figure everything out on your own, because God isn't real, angels aren't real, right? That's the mind frame that you can start to get into. And so that's a very sad place to be, because now you're spiritually isolated. And what happens in spirit form often eventually happens in physical form. And so this is an invitation for you to contemplate what it would mean to spiritually expand. That's going to mean something different for each of you. We're not here to tell you how it should look for you. We're not even here to give you advice on how to do it. Right now, it is just the contemplation of the spirit expansion. What does that mean to you? What could that look like? Because eventually, with the spirit expansion, you would start to believe that there are powers around you that are here to support and love and guide you. And when you're open to that, when you can start to have a little more faith in it, you can start to experience the synchronicities, experience the voice inside your head that you know is of a higher intelligence than of your own. So you start to lean into those spiritual experiences more. And again, you don't even have to do much, you just have to contemplate. We wish people could remember this and keep it in mind, because as you contemplate, as you just think about certain things, the action eventually follows. It eventually follows. And that's why there's no pressure to just think about these things first. So instead of thinking about what you need to do or what you should be doing, we ask you instead to breathe, to get back into your center. And when you're ready, just contemplate soul expansion. Because through that, you are shifting the energies around you. You are shifting the world around you through your mere thought. And this reminds you that you are a co-creator, that you can make things happen through thought. Everything happens through thought first. We think about doing something and we'll do it or we don't do it. But a consistent thought always manifests. A consistent thought of action will eventually lead into some form of action, maybe not precisely what you see, but eventually some form of that will play out. And so today, we ask you to breathe and carry this energy with you throughout the upcoming days, because many of you are in challenges that will last a while longer. So put away the self-help tapes, put away the pressure to get everything resolved now, and breathe and contemplate. Breathe and contemplate. And maybe you contemplate through journaling, through writing, through channeling, through closing your eyes and thinking things through. Maybe contemplation happens best for you in the shower when you actually have some alone time. But just think of these things for you and what they mean. And remember, there are always greater powers out there to assist and love you. Thank you. Whew, okay, wow. I was talking for a while there, wasn't I? All right, let me grab a drink of water. I hope that was helpful for everyone. I'll have to go back and watch that, because when I channel messages, a lot of times I don't remember what was said. I did an angel channeling for a friend just like 3 days ago. And then she called me afterwards and she's like, yeah, it's just like they said when they said da 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 da. And she went on and she repeated something word for word that came out of my mouth. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you remember that, because I don't. So anyways, apparently our collective homework is to breathe and contemplate. I think we can do that, right? I know it can be hard though. That can definitely be difficult, because we all have different things going on in our lives, so it can be challenging just to find the time to do that. So, all right. So go ahead and put your questions into the chat. Let me scroll up and see if I've lost anybody. All right. This is supposed to be going through on Facebook too, and I don't think it is, but if you're watching this on Facebook, can you just send a message, please, so I know? All right. Let's see here. Juggernaut says, I have been waking up to 444 lately and seeing it everywhere along with 333. I've been seeing that a lot too. I started seeing 333 and 222 a lot lately. In fact, I woke up this morning at 222. Thankfully, I was able to go back to sleep afterwards. Let's see. I see 444 and 777 literally every day. That's awesome. So those are very much the higher frequencies. Those are both numbers of the angelic realm. And then 777 can sometimes mean renewal. Kieran says, I see matching numbers all the time. Yesterday it was literally every hour, which I find very interesting. Be very grateful if you could help me understand a little more about what that means. What depends on what the numbers are, Kieran, because all those numbers have a different meaning. KK says, I see 444. Let's see, I can show these on screen. Okay, I'm using a new platform. Let's see, I'm not crazy about that color, so I have to see if I can fix that. All right. I see 444 when asking for guidance for a specific person. Immediately 444 out of nowhere shows up, and always when I ask. That's very cool. All right. Let's see. I see 1111 from past 2 weeks. How will I do financially this year? Okay, so when I tune into that, it feels like it doesn't feel like there's going to be a lot of change in your finances this year. It feels like it stays pretty steady. I'm also seeing a bit of a dip down. So usually when I see a dip down, that can mean that finances you were depending on didn't come through, or it could mean that there is some type of a financial emergency, like sometimes that can be a repair, health issue. It's usually something like that we have to spend money on that we weren't intending. So you might take a hit in your savings because of this emergency. And then you do come back up and everything stays level, but I'm not seeing much of a change. So it feels like you just kind of continue with, you continue to get your needs met. So like I don't see you being homeless or anything like that. But as far as finances, more coming your way, it doesn't feel like that's the case. It feels like it's very steady. Um there's gonna be, but I do see an increase for you next year. I would say early. It might even happen in January. So there might be a promotion or something that happens, but I do see more money. And I would even say luxury, for lack of a better word. I see things getting a lot better next year. So this year is still the year to stay grounded and do your best to live within your means. Try not to spend more than what you have, and yeah, just do your best. Next year's when you'll have the increase. Um, let's see. Velma, yeah, I think so. I believe so. I'm getting a strong yes on that. My current relationship lead to marriage. It sure feels like it. You're on the right path for it. Um, oh, thank you, Gina. Gina, let me know. Facebook's working. Yay. All right. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. I'm sorry, guys. I'm working with a new platform, and it looks like it just started repeating everyone's comments, so that's strange. Um, let's see. All right, Kieran says the most common angel numbers are 10, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 15, 15, 20, 20. That is a lot. That is a lot of numbers. All right. So, what I'm getting from this is that you do have a strong team of angels and guides that are coming in to support you. So whenever you see numbers repeating, that's the first meaning, is that you're divinely supported. So many people are around you, right? And or so many spirits are around you that are there to help you. So this is their way of waving and letting you know that they're around. So as you are well, okay, let me back up. Sorry. I saw a comment pop up and I need to here. You know what? Let me turn off the chat on my end so I'm not bombarded by seeing everything scroll. My ADHD is kind of in hyperdrive today. Okay, so 1111 is a sign that your thoughts are manifesting right now. So so whenever you see 1111, stop and ask yourself, what am I thinking about? What was I just thinking? What was I just hearing? What song was playing on the radio? Do people still listen to the radio? I don't know. Podcasts. What was I listening to on this podcast? Because 1111 is a sign to stop and pay attention, because you're manifesting whatever it is you're thinking about, whatever it is that's in your field right now. Um, and as far as the other numbers go, I feel like altogether, um, these can be different codes. They can be a weight loss code, letting you know that that you might be losing weight if that's what you're wanting to do. If if it's not, you might want to change course and diet and whatnot and figure things out. But it does feel like there's a positive shift happening in your health. I do see your health shifting, and you might be noticing some changes in your physical body. um, I do feel you getting stronger. I see physical strength. I see more mobility. So more mobility can be more flexible. And yeah, I just see you. I see you feeling better. I see you feeling physically better, but I also see this uptake in confidence. So I think that this year you're in this period of transformation, and you're probably noticing it too. And I think even your thoughts are changing. Like you might even notice, like, wow, my thoughts are different than they were just like a few years ago. So even if you pay attention to that, you're going to notice transformation taking place in many different forms for you. Um, I do see you already being very spiritual. I do see that you probably have some form of clairvoyance, because I think that you can see. I think that you see things. I think they're largely in your mind's eye, but I also feel that you're able to. You have this unique gift where you're able to kind of put this bubble around you, and it blocks out other people's energies. And the reason I say that's a special gift is because not everyone can do that. It's something that's taught in a lot of spiritual circles, the white light of protection, but it doesn't always work for empaths. So they can create this brilliant light and still feel things. And I feel like you've got actually really good energetic boundaries. So everything that you're doing in terms of transformation and bettering your life, your strength, because I don't think you're just physically stronger too. Um, I think that you're mentally stronger. I think that you've gotten better at not playing into the games that other people want to play with you. Sometimes people like to be cruel or mean, and they'll play mind games. And you're at the point now where you're like, nope, not playing. This is who you are. You can go play by yourself. Go play solitaire, bud, not for me. So, yeah, I think that you're doing really well in all areas of your life in terms of the transition. So, you're manifesting well. You're manifesting very, very well. So, yeah, good for you. All righty. Um, Debbie, will my daughter move out? Mm, that's not, is she, I'm guessing she's an adult. So I don't like to answer questions like this during lives, because it is kind of a way of putting people's business out there, and we don't want to do that. But if this is impacting you, which it sounds like it is, and you'd like a private reading with me, we can set that up. So just email me at guidingechoes@gmail.com, and we'll set something up. And I price things on a pricing scale, because again, I don't want to block people from the answers and guidance that they need. Okay. So Hallie says, hi Nicole, I was wondering if you have any insight into me selling homemade jewelry. Let's see. I don't have any, I'm not getting a hit on that. So let me see. Actually, I want Fairy of the Oracles. Oracle of the Fairies, I meant. I said Fairy of the Oracles, didn't I? I've been having so many brain glitches lately. All right, guys, let's see. All right. And remember, if you want a private reading with me, you can visit my website, guidingechoes.com, set that up. If the price is too high for you, please email me. Let me know. Communicate this because I will work with you. So, I mean, it has to be within a budget that I can afford to give you a discount. But like I said, I want to be accessible to people. Okay. Insight to the handmade jewelry. Is there something meaningful about the jewelry you're creating, Allie? Because it's not spiritual jewelry, right? It feels like maybe there's some type of, it feels like there's a meaning behind it though, and I just can't quite tune into what that is. Okay, so the card I pulled for you is divination. That's interesting. Are you creating pendulums or anything like that? Embrace your powers of divination, which are especially strong right now. You have the ability to set your current situation with crystal clear clarity. Okay, so this is actually more embrace your powers of divination, which are especially strong right now. You have the ability to see your current situation with crystal clear clarity. Okay. Even though this says divination, I feel like what I started channeling was about manifesting, like seeing yourself successful. See yourself very successful with the jewelry that you're creating and selling. Okay, I was going to say, let me pull another card for you. Shine from within, looks are only skin deep. True beauty shines from within, and it's time for you to shine. This is a time for self-acceptance and revealing your true beauty. Okay, there we go. I feel like that's more or less for you. The other one is too, divination, because that's about trusting your psychic senses, right? So shine from within. This is very interesting because you're talking about jewelry and it talks about it's time to shine, like revealing your true beauty. And so I feel like that's what your jewelry is going to help people do, help people feel more beautiful, more pretty. I feel like the energy that you're showing, the jewelry that you show is special. I feel like it's unique. And I feel like it really speaks to people's personalities. So yeah, so I think it's gonna do well. Yeah. I think it's gonna do very well. And I don't know how you're planning on selling it, but I know a lot of people open Etsy shops, and that's good. But I actually see you doing well at online events, or not online events, in-person events. So like some type of fairs or community events. It's not, I don't think I'm looking at a carnival, but something more like a farmer's market or something like that. I feel like that's what I'm looking at. All right. Hello, Lynn. I'm interested in the numbers things as this applies to me too, wondering what the angels have to say about my efforts with writing. It feels good. I'm proud of you, Lynn, for your writing. You're making some great strides there. Hold on a second. My throat is just getting, this happens a lot when I do my lives now. My throat starts to get parched within 30 minutes in. All right, Lynn, let me channel that for you. Also, if you can put in the chat what number you're seeing, and then I can dive into that a little bit more. Okay. All right, so here's what they're saying for you, Lynn. They're coming through. You are a divine channel. And as you continue to write your different stories, your fictions, your nonfictions, your ideals, your truths that are being channeled to you, you are bringing light into this world and new ways of thinking. What you're channeling is truth, even if the story is fiction, because within that fictional story is a nugget of wisdom that someone needs to hear and feel. And that is what your writings largely do. They allow people to feel. And so what you're creating, Lynn, is imagine that someone has a locket. And within this locket are all these deep emotions that they have been preventing themselves from feeling it. They know it's there. They wear it on their chest, but they're not giving themselves access to it because they don't want to feel it. It doesn't feel safe. And through your writing, what you actually do, we're not sure if you're aware of this or not. We don't think you are. But through your writings, when people read what you have to say, you give them a safe space where they can open up that locket and they can examine these feelings and feel them. And so that's one of the things that great storytellers like yourself are able to do. You're able to give people a space, almost permission, so that they can feel the emotions that they weren't allowed to feel in different situations. Sometimes people grow up in households where they're not allowed to cry, they're not allowed to be angry, they're not allowed to be sad. There's even households where people aren't allowed to be happy. And so, as people grow up and they go through different life situations, they learn to stuff different emotions deep down inside, and they don't know when to release them. And so, through your writings and storytelling, you're actually creating a sacred space for people within themselves to open that locket and be able to let those emotions pour. And the different styles of writing that you have and the different forms of writing that you put out into the world always hits the right ear. So please know that. Years from now, even after your passing, people will be finding your writings and they will still be touched by them. They will still heal from them because that's part of what writers do. When you tell a story, fiction or nonfiction, it allows people to go on a journey within themselves, within their own minds, and they start to, through a very peculiar way, start to take inventory of their own lives. And they start to think about how they could have done a situation differently, or they might put themselves in the shoes of a character. And what's interesting about that is people don't usually understand that when they're reading a story of different characters, when the author does a brilliant job of expressing what the characters are feeling and thinking in that moment, people are stepping into that character. And so on some level there they can be embedding the morality, the good intentions, the contemplations, the spirituality of that character. And so because they're given insight into this inner world, they then come out of that story and they have different things to consider, and they often come out of the story changed because they've on some level decided which character they despise and which character they want to be like, which characters they want to embody. So storytelling is very important because it leaves lasting impressions on the reader, because your soul and your mind are always absorbing what's around you. And it's through storytelling that people can understand the consequences and results of their action. And so when it comes to you as a writer, we would say keep writing. Even if you think your writing is nonsense, keep writing. If you think your writing is brilliant, no one else likes it, keep writing. Always, always, always keep writing. Because as we said, your writings will live on when you have passed over, and your writings will continue to inspire and continue to be a mirror to people who might feel lost in their lives, who don't know what they're doing, who have been through great grief and don't know how to handle it. These are all things that people toil with in their own lives, and they don't always open themselves up for other people to be a part of it, especially because nowadays people have this desire to appear strong and confident. And while that's always been the case, there's been an uptake in this recently. So people don't allow communities in to help them anymore. And so storytelling is how we do that now. It's one of the platforms, it's one of the important tools. Storytelling many years ago was just about telling stories for pleasure, for entertainment. It serves a little bit of a different purpose now. Storytelling has become more broad and more, we would say, intelligent, complicated. but this is all good. So you are divinely blessed when it comes to your writings because you are channeling truths. Even in fiction, you're channeling truths. Because every character that you tap into is a character that actually exists on this form in some way. You are channeling their actual thoughts, you are channeling an actual being. This isn't coincidence. This is by design so that stories can be told and so that you can feel the presence of these characters. You can bring them to life as you write about them. So please keep moving forward. We enjoy what you are doing. We see the benefit in it. And we do see good things ahead for you when it comes to your writing. Whew. Okay. Well, they are fans. They're definitely fans of your writing, Lynn. Okay, so Lynn says 1111. Okay, that's a manifestation number. 1711. That's renewal. There's a 7 in there, so that's renewal among the ones. I feel like that's about you channeling healing. Well, you're channeling a lot of stuff right now. So I do see you being a channel. I see you channeling things spiritually. And I do, again, I feel like there's something having to do with health, like a renewal of your health. And 444, that's usually a sign of your angels being near you. So, okay. All right, Lynn, I hope that was helpful for you. And all right, I will take one more question because my throat's starting to get tired. Let's see. Kieran says, I still have a lot of negative thoughts around many things which I'm working on. Well, that's good. It's good you're working on it. That's always a good thing to work on. All right. Denise, I think this is Denise. I've been seeing angel numbers forever. 444 is one of my most favorites. So glad I caught you live. I'm glad too, Denise. Yeah, 444 always makes my heart happy when I see it too. Let's see. Oh, Lynn, I'm glad. Lynn says it was amazing. Yay. All right. And let's see. Will I be able to sell my business soon in the near future? Yes. I see that happening this year. So I don't know if that's how soon you were asking about, but I do see there being a possible opportunity to sell it this year. And if for some reason that doesn't happen, also, I want to say sell it as soon as possible. So if you're able to make it happen soon, go for it. If not, a window opens again. Let's see. Feels like early next year there'll be another good buyer for it. So yeah, I do see you being able to sell it pretty soon. So, all right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure. And if I wasn't able to answer your question, please feel free to email me, guidingechoes@gmail.com, if you'd like to set up a private reading. Private readings I do have to charge for, obviously. But again, I will work with you on a pay rate that works for you, on a scale that works for you. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Take care. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.